Hi, I'm Chelsea Cain. I'm the author of Heartsick, and this is Portland, Oregon. Well, I set the book in Portland, Oregon, because I live here. So it seemed easier than setting it in Chicago. But I also think there's something really interesting and spooky about the Pacific Northwest. We have a lot of serial killers here, and a lot of bands, and I think there's a connection, because it rains a lot, and there's not a lot to do, so you stay inside, and you can either go crazy and kill someone or learn to play an instrument. So I thought that would be interesting to explore the Pacific Northwest. And we have a lot of big old trees, and it's cloudy, and there's just this sense that people could really just go mad at any moment. Well, this is my office. This is my dog. This is a chair that a family friend made me with his hands. Wow. And we're on the 3rd floor of my house in Portland, Oregon. And this is where I work. I had insomnia, as a lot of pregnant women do, and I was up in the middle of the night watching Larry King. And there was this story, he was doing this interview with a couple of the investigators from the Green River killer case. And I had grown up in Bellingham, Washington. And the first bodies were found in 1982. I was 10 years old. And I remembered this. It really had a profound impact on me as a kid. And the Green River Killer was at large for 20 years in the Pacific Northwest and killed a lot of women. He was convicted of killing 48, but they think that he killed many more than that. Well, Heartsick is about Archie Sheridan, who is a cop who led this beauty killer task force for 10 years. And this was a task force searching for a notorious serial killer here in the Pacific Northwest, the beauty killer. And after 10 years of obsessively working this case, Archie was actually caught by the beauty killer herself, which turned out to be this very beautiful woman named Gretchen Lowell. And she tortured Archie for 10 days and then mysteriously let him go. And the book picks up, and Gretchen is in jail, and it's 2 years later, and Archie is called off medical leave to hunt a second serial killer, the after-school strangler. And so they reconvene this old task force, and Archie, who is quite damaged by his experience with Gretchen and is addicted to painkillers and very conflicted, has to sort of come back to his professional life and try to get this killer who is killing young girls in the Portland area. And the book is also about Susan Ward, who is a young reporter for the Oregon Herald. She's got pink hair, and she's 28, and her mom's a hippie, and she has got a lot to prove. And she is sort of given the story of a lifetime, which is to profile Archie Sheridan. So she's sort of investigating him as he's investigating this serial killer crime. Okay, let's go on a tour of Portland. You ready? Okay, let's go. We're at Cleveland High School, and in the book, girls are disappearing and being murdered, and they're from different high schools in the Portland area. All of the high schools in Portland are named after dead presidents. So this is Grover Cleveland High School. And this is where the first girl is a student, the first girl who is murdered in the book. And it figures prominently in the book because it is also the school where Susan Ward, the plucky girl journalist, was a high school student. So she has a lot of past here. Yeah, Cleveland High. Okay, so this is the Oregonian. This is the model of the Oregon Herald, where Susan Ward works in the book. The exterior is much different than how I describe it in the book. But it's much older in the book because I wanted to help sort of give it anonymity, although this is it. This is the Oregon Herald. Okay, hi. This is the old Henry Weinhardt's brewery that has been turned into mixed use, and in the book, this is where Susan lives. We're in southwest Portland now, and it's a neighborhood with a lot of people with money. You can tell because it's very quiet here. And there are really big, beautiful houses. So, of course, when I thought, like, where would a vicious, beautiful serial killer live, I thought of this neighborhood. Gretchen's house in the book is in this neighborhood on Vista. And as you can see, it's much like really any one of these houses. Any one of these houses could house a serial killer. We're headed to the Esplanade, which is a walkway along the river. So why don't we go for a little walk and I'll show you where the bodies are. So this would be the area where the body washes up along the Willamette. It's a little later in the season and not snowing in the novel, but it would be just past here where the bushes would sort of obscure her from the path, so you'd really have to be looking. We're on Zoe Island. This is the beach where Christy Mather's body washes up. You can see the beautiful white sand. I'm kidding, it's snow, but there's sand under here, I swear, it's a beach. In using locations in Portland, I used, some that I went to frequently, and sometimes it was great when I was stuck because I could just go out and take a bunch of notes at a location and then come back, and it would really kind of help get the wheels turning. And other places I made up, out of whole cloth. It just sort of depended on what I needed. But my aim was to create a city that was familiar enough that you would believe me when I told you some things that maybe weren't true. I'd like to write these books, for the next 20 years. And that's a threat.